Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. How is everybody? I hope you like my setup. I was really into greens and golds today. The richness of the sun, the calmingness of the earth, and I was just inspired to do this read, especially now that I received this from lovely Cheryl. Like, I can't get enough of this book and its lovely messages. So we're going to see what is moving towards you and what you are manifesting right now. And also, quick heads up, back by popular demand here, I am going to be doing the super special where you can ask 3 questions for $33. It's ready within 24 hours. Just come over to Sparkrist11 over on IG and DM to book, or you can email me. I'm really excited, you guys. I want to thank everybody for all of their interest. So we're actually just going to have the 2 pick a card, and you feel free to watch both. Spirals of Manifestation is number 1, and number 2 is Sacred Fool. Again, you guys, anything that you see on the sets, if you see any of the rings and you're curious about them, just DM me, hey Melanie, I saw this beautiful tourmaline or whatever. It's like, I oftentimes don't have time to get it in the Etsy store right away, but I'm going to work on that this weekend. So excited, you guys. So number 1, let's start with this, because I feel like this speaks to our creative stuff, right? It moves in spirals. Love, all of this. It's not linear, and our mind decides the way forward is to take these clear steps from one point to the next. However, there's a genius in all of us that can guide us on an alternate route. Mine is like a firework. It goes out in several different directions, and then I'll see in my mind's eye, that works. Like, look how I conceptualize this. It just started with when I was wearing all these rings yesterday. I just kept putting them on my little Toledo sword, and then I saw green and gold, and I started to think, oh, I love those colors together. I'd like to dress a set like that. And you know, spectrum, I would just see what was around and just get things according to that. And if there is a unnecessary pothole or delay in a linear path, we sometimes get like, oh, this is going to derail me. Instead, we take a loop around and we see things that are more fun and more beautiful than we had ever thought, had we just stayed on that, rigid adherence to whatever we think is like a logical progression, right? Just let it come from all forms. Sometimes I get really inspired. I'm at the beach, I see a kid just having the best time building a sandcastle, and I'm like, why don't I just get down and start building a sandcastle? That looks awesome. Right? So right now you are in the midst of a spiral manifestation. Something is coming into being. Even if you think it's further away than ever before, it is really working its way towards you and will fall into place. And just because it's around the bend and out of view, it is like you have it with you all along. You have gratitude, you've envisioned it, all of this. And sometimes when we're the furthest away from what we want, whether it's a person or relationship, we're actually closer. And that's the thing, we're right on the precipice. So we're like, where is it, right? So we almost have a hard time buckling down and being able to connect with calmness and say, you know what, it is coming. So against the grain, I love this card because I feel like this says, just be your own independent, beautiful, authentic self. You want birds to be able to fly underwater. You want love to trump over power. You want humanity to relate to each other as equals and recognize the sacredness of all things. You want to unleash all that beauty that hides the ugliest scenes or sentiments. We really want to make possible what others cannot. You're probably a radical dreamer, sacred rebel. You have a more positive future set out for this world, and probably you might feel a little bit of an outsider. Comment down below. I mean, I know when people ask me, oh, what do you do for a job? I select my audience very wisely, what I am going to say according to who is asking this question. And I've said this before, some people, I'm a jewelry designer, that's it. I don't get into my esoteric past and clairaudiency, YouTube, any of that. Some people I can tell, but for some of us, we really do. We can feel like an outsider because we have a vision of the world that we would love to come to pass, right? To see fruition, where people do just love and accept each other. They stop with the judgments and the criticism. We're tired of all these dry, serious, conventional people, right? I feel like it gets a lot. But you have a special message for the world, and the world has one for you, right? Really dive into the depths of your creative waters. Lose yourself in the flow of music and nature and dreams. I do this all the time. And then my imagination just takes full force, art, literature, meditation, dance, all of this. Even river, lakes, in the shower, Water really does it, the elements for me, and I feel like you're going to be able to go out there, and your guides just want you to just seize the day. You are going to be ready to have these dreams come to fruition, and you're not going to be hard pressed to do them. Again, tell any cynics about anything you're doing. You're just going to go, and I feel like a lot of successes for them. Okay, be the hunter, not the hunted. You know, you don't have to go out and apply for jobs you don't want. You don't have to sit and wait for somebody to come to you. You go out and you go get it. You know, you are not at the beck and call of circumstances, situations, or relationships that are outside of your control. Is your attention right now being called away from what you love, from your passionate focus on your own journey or your creative self-expression? Are you feeling roped into becoming a support tonic or a savior or a heal-all for others? That is a big question. That's the big difference between healthy supportiveness in a relationship, which also includes healthy self-support, and ignoring your own journey out of misplaced guilt or unworthiness and the belief that others' needs are more important than your own. I used to have this. I would still look after myself, but oftentimes I would help others constantly to the detriment of myself. I would drive an hour out of my way if I knew somebody was tired, to pick them up for work, to do this and that, create all these things for them, spend time, people belaboring points, feeling sorry for themselves. And then I realized, you know what, I'm becoming an enabler by letting these people just have whatever they want, because it becomes like a succubus type of situation. So it's saying, again, let go of all of this. Comment down below if you do feel like you do this. Whether you have like a brother-in-law, sister-in-law, a child, whatever it is, that you're going out of your way for them. It's this important news for you is you're capable of seeing the truth and outsmarting old patterns and responding more creatively to craft this new improved relationships. People respect when you respect yourself and your boundaries, and you are going to be setting yourself up beautifully for that. And I love that. By saying no, you're going to be shown through inner wisdom. Right here, the owl, symbol of wisdom. This is too much. This ask is too big. This is going to deplete me. I only have so much bandwidth. So this is being honest. And I will say this to friends, to clients, whatever. I simply do not have the time today for this. I simply do not have the bandwidth for this. I care about you. I will address this when I have, more time. You don't need to say yes right away. And a way that you can also rescue yourself from this is just saying, I need a moment. I'll get back to you, right? No matter how seemingly small or apparently dramatic events around you appear to be, know really that you're stepping into a new phase of empowerment from a place of freedom and self-love. When that emerges, you learn to say no, you learn to power up, and you're going to be doing that. Again, you're going to be kind of like what's going on the sacred fool journey over there, where you're able to say, yeah, no thank you, that's a bit too much right now. And because of that, you're going to be able to manifest what you want, because you're spending time on you and what you like. So you guys, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to press like and subscribe. Love, love, love too. Comment down below if you like this set dressing, if you like this kind of things, colors and spark. I just was like, I've been watching this show where they decorate for parties, and I'm like, oh, that was going to be one of my life path party planning. I may in my future do the flowers at parties and events, because I do have a touch for that. I like things to look different and pop and be rich and lovely, and I just feel good looking at this. Makes me feel like I can breathe really easy. The green, and then like gold powers me up. It gets me excited, just like silver does. So beautiful. Again, you guys, if you need a private read or anything else, the links are down below. Come on over to Sparkwist11 and you can just DM me right away. I'm always on there popping on, talking to people about things, and get on the new special too. 3 questions for $33. I love that. I do it within 48 hours. And off you go. So let's talk about you, beautiful group too, and feel free to watch this as well, because this is one of my favorite cards in this deck, because I feel like when we tap into this energy, we are completely unstoppable. We are, free from judgment. We are free to love. We are free to go in. The Fool is the great rebel. They're able to thwart convention and tell the truth without restraint, right? Your heart is a wonderful, powerful, sacred fool. It doesn't care what the mind says is real and not real. It lives according to an inner wisdom, and it's not dictated or controlled by anything. It loves, it lives, and it is what it is. And I feel like now it is imminent. When you feel inspired, alive for a passion, you're not going to try to be appropriate. You're not going to try to be socially acceptable. You're not worried about what others think or what they're doing. Just be, and you're going to feel fine with that. I feel like a lot of women reach a stage when they kind of like approach their 40s and they're just like, you know what? Things don't need to be so perfect, polished, and fit in. And I find this around in some of my neighborhoods too, especially the more affluent two towns that follow me on both sides, Darien and Greenwich, Connecticut, where people started to assimilate in their 20s. When you see them, when they're like fresh out of college, everybody was like dressing the same, looking the same. And then later, as you know, they had their families and they realized what was important to them, they became more distinct and more individualized. In fact, they started to look much more like hippie and, you know, flowy hair and crystals and more earthy. You know, it was like instead of that uptight, super yuppie, everybody looking the same. And again, I feel like things that you will not engage with things that are ridiculous, that are, you know, heavy 3D energy and doubt and controlling machines of mass media, all of that. You're going to disengage because it's time for you to play. It's time for you to let life happen in a completely unreserved, unscripted way. And sometimes the more bizarre, left field, or unexpected, more ridiculous, the better. I'm all for this. I'm all both feet in with this all the time. That's why I love crazy things like those medieval fairs and just really funny, niche, kooky things. Like, I love it. I'm really into it. So here's some other things. The legacy of light. This is connected in a way because when we're true to our heart and what we want, it wants us right back, and we flourish and we go out there, and, you know, we don't let life's demands diminish us in any way. We just go for it. We honor the legacy of light that is all our sacred birthright. And I feel like our spirit really comes up. You know, we have a sacred endowment from great universal sources of light and humanity. And I feel like it gets richer and richer one generation to the next, because we get more aligned with our purpose and our spiritual path. Healing and growth, our ancestors help us, right? Amazing, amazing energy. They are going to be with us, and we'll have lots of confirmation in them. Also, softly, the tender touch. I feel we need to remember to apply beautiful, rich, soft energy around things, feminine wisdom, gentleness that assists us. And we don't have to exhaust ourselves with striving, pushing, or grabbing in order to create, right? It's about inviting what we wish to come into the space we have provided for internally and in our lives. You know, this method really cultivates more energy. It causes less stress. It attracts what is desired. It is manifestation by invitation, you know, rather than will or force. I love this card. It's so beautiful. And I feel that you will start to feel this naturally abundant being that gratefully invites more of what you want into your life. You energetically embody what you wish to attract more. Like attracts like. You don't need to push to receive at all. It will come very naturally and very gracefully and very balanced. And the Sacred Fool knows that. Sacred Fool is like, I would dig me some of this. I would dig me some peace and quiet, sitting in a hammock, reading a book, talking to some great kindred spirits. I would like to bring a whole palette of paints out into my yard, paint my rear end off, have a good time, look at birds, you know, chill the hell out. Like, I had an idea of making this big like sand zen garden with like really beautiful green sand and putting a bunch of crystals in my backyard and almost like a sandbox thing. And I was like, I think I'm gonna do that. And I do have to be careful because I have two very like logic people. Both my husband and my son will be like, what is that? No, we don't have. I'm like, I don't even tell them anymore. I just go about it, and then afterward they're like, oh, that's cool. But you try to explain anything to somebody that's just very logic and, you know, one-sided on their brain, where they don't have the artistic kind of like eye to things, you just have to do it, and then they say, oh, that's nice. And that's what the Sacred Fool does. We don't need to explain ourselves. We're just gonna go do, and it comes out beautifully in this flourish, and then you feel awash with this gorgeous artistry, and that's what's going to be taking place for your group too. Love that energy for you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming over and watching my video. So appreciate it. And I want to thank people coming and supporting me over on Patreon. If you're curious about that, you can go check it out too. It's a way to support, and it's just wonderful. It helps me get more cards and decks and, you know, stuff for the sets. It's a lot of fun. I have a you know, such deep appreciation for you guys. And again, if you need a private read or anything else, just click one of the links down below. If they're not up yet, you can go over to my IG, which is Sparklist11, get in on the special. I love this card. It's just so beautiful. Her artwork, I tell you, again, if you guys are curious and you forgot about the deck, it is Alana Fairchild, Sacred Rebel. She has several decks. She's like beyond compare. I mean, her and Colette kind of go in tandem for their beautiful artistry and their storytelling abilities, and how they capture, the will to live fabulously and be limitless. It's so wonderful. So love and light, you guys. I'm going to go off the